What's up, everybody? It is Casey. Excuse me. Let's try this again. What's up, everybody? It's Casey with Two Worlds Podcast, and with me, as always, it's the Amber Heard to my Johnny Depp. It's Jake. How you doing, buddy?
You poop on someone's bed one time.
I mean, it happened at C2E2 though, and the cleaning people never came back.
I'm pretty sure they quit that day.
Yeah.
Anyway, how are you?
Oh, not too bad. I ate a very dry protein bar before we got on, so that's what kind of got stuck in my throat as I was talking. But otherwise, not too bad. I was filthy, and when like you get really dirty with like stuff that's hard to come off, like there's still like that layer on you. Because like I have like grease on me and all this other crap, and so yeah, I'm like, I took a shower, but I can still feel it kind of sitting there. So it's great. How about you, man?
Are you guys planting right now, or
not yet? We're getting ready, but there's some people that have planted, and it's like,
I bet I know who.
actually they haven't yet. This is, I don't know if you know the neighbor, big farmers. They have about, I mean, like in the 10,000s of acres.
Wow.
So, I mean, like they're all over. So it's like, I get why they do stuff early, but still, I mean, I don't know how.
Just huge tracts of land, right?
Yeah.
Right on. Since you did that opener, I gotta ask, are you Team Amber or Team Johnny?
I mean, okay, if I'm being honest, it's like they both seem terrible. Johnny seems the less terrible of the two, hands down. But it's like at the same time, it's like, I think even their therapist said like they're both very bad, like not meaning to say bad people, but they're both very like self-destructive, like people that need a lot of help. And it's like, yeah, that's seems to be the case.
I mean, how can you not when you're one of the most famous people in the whole world?
Yeah. What about you, man? Are you just Team Amber Heard because you still think she's so pretty?
Okay, I wouldn't say I was ever Team Amber in any part of this, but I don't know. It's all over the place, Twitter and TikTok and everywhere. So it's crazy to see her lawyers try to get stuff on Johnny when it's just so ridiculous. But at the end of the day, I don't really care one way or the other.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like, this is their personal business, honestly. It's none of ours.
Yeah.
But whatever.
All right. Let's hop into the news. I've got 2 comic related news and 1 movie news. So I'll do the movie one first. We have an official movie title for the Dungeons and Dragons movie. It will be called D&D Honor Among Thieves. And that's actually coming out March 4th of next year, which is either I forgot when this went into production or it just happened a lot quicker than I was expecting. But anyway, some of the cast is Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, and Hugh Grant. So a couple big names there.
Yeah.
I hope Hugh Grant is just a big old wizard.
Dude, I don't know if you saw this movie, but did you see Cloud Atlas?
Not after you saw Cloud Atlas.
Okay. Well, he's in that movie, and because he plays like 30 different characters, because everyone does. And like, but at the same time, like there's times where it's like he plays like this weird, like almost goblin like fella, and like you can't even tell it's him. So I mean, he could be
that with all the face paint and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he might not be a goblin. There might be like a Cloud Atlas head listening that's like, he wasn't a goblin, he was actually blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, it's whatever. But I mean, if you are listening and you're a Cloud Atlas head, just tell us to do a Cloud Atlas cast and we'll be on it. But my point is, like, I only knew him for the longest time as like the romantic comedy guy, and now I'm like, I respect his ability, even though that movie I'm not a fan of.
Yeah. Well, I hope it's good. I really, really want this movie to do well for D&D.
Do you think it'll be better than that D&D movie that came out like late 90s, early 2000s?
I mean, it's got to be because I bet there aren't 10 people that even remember that movie,
Did you
you
see
know?
it, or was it, because I know my family rented it and we watched it, but did you ever see it?
See, I feel like my uncle who got me into D&D, I feel like I did when we were kids with him, but I
Yeah.
don't know if that's true.
Yeah, it's one of those movies. As a kid, I watched it and I was like, this is pretty sweet. And I watched it again on sci-fi. I'm like, this is pretty not sweet.
I mean, clearly I don't remember it. Was it just a bad plot or the CG or what?
Bad special effects and like just pretty corny. But there was one part because like it's Jimmy Olsen from Lois and Clark is the main character, and he like sees this elf woman that he wants to, marry or whatever. And the dwarf that's with him is like, oh, this is like the only part that I really remember. He's like, oh no, you don't want an elf woman, you want a dwarf woman that has a nice strong beard that you can pull yourself up with.
Gosh, well, it's got to be better than that, right?
I mean, I hope they hope they keep that dialogue at least.
Yeah.
As a
Is
deep,
this one that you would see? Would you watch this movie?
probably. I mean, if you see it and you go, dude, this is terrible. It was like that time I tried to be yours, Levi, and Mike's DM, and it just ended terribly and just made me cry a little bit. It's like that, and I'd be like, oof, I am seeing it, but
Fair enough.
no, man. But yeah, no, I'd probably check it out. I think it'd be a good time. I like as a DM though. Are you kind of like, man, I don't like this as much because it's not, they're not gonna be doing what I do.
No, no, I think I'm ready to just kind of, I don't know, just be an audience member. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I got
But
you.
at least I don't have to prep for anything, so that's cool.
Right on, buddy. All right. So this is like, I had zero news really, but I just wanted to include this because I thought I think it's pretty neat. I'll get your opinion on this. Keith David wants to play Better Ray Bill. Like, he is begging for it. And I am honestly all about it. I never thought of him as a Better Ray Bill, but yeah, I love Keith David, so I'm all about it.
Yeah, same here. Chronicles of Riddick, Saints Row, like I like he doesn't have a bad role really. So
No,
and you need someone of his caliber to do that voice, I think. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm all about it.
It'd be funny though if they're like, okay, but you're gonna be going through 5 hours of prosthetics every day. And he's like, whoa, 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 wait.
There's no way.
Dude, I'm gonna send it to you because I've been on Reddit, like, actually here for a little bit, and there was a Godzilla thing I saw where they took Godzilla, like the scene from Final Wars where it's Godzilla versus Gigan, and they made Keith David Godzilla, and I don't know who the guy that's Gigan's voice. And it's just like, after seeing that, I'm like, man, they always talk about like a Godzilla only, like no human movie. And if they got Keith David to voice Godzilla, I would 100% be all on board for that.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
He can do it all.
Yeah.
Okay. So over to the comic side of news. Uh the Predator title from Marvel, after a year hiatus, is finally coming out in July. That will be written by Ed Brisson and art will be done by Kev Walker. There was all that legal trouble with Predator there for a while, but all that's been settled. And so it's finally coming out.
And he's like chasing after the Avengers in that first one. I think like he's gonna be. They said, and what I saw is he's decapitating Iron Man in the first issue. So they might
I
be.
don't know if you're joking or not.
No, I'm being serious. I think it's gonna be like an Elseworld type thing, like Archie and the Predator, where like he literally killed everybody except for, I think, Betty and the Dilbert, like the kid, the guy, the really smart kid, because then he turns Archie into, if I remember right, Archie into like a cyborg that kills the Predator. It was bad.
Well, if that's the case, if it's like an Elseworlds thing, I'll probably read this. I
Yeah,
wasn't going to, but that just sounds like it could be too much fun.
yeah. So like, I mean, because like the picture, it's him holding Iron Man's head, and like people were saying what I was seeing online, they might have just been looking at the picture, but they're saying like Tony gets decapitated in the first issue. So
Okay. Well, then I got to read at least
yeah, you're
that
like,
one.
you're just like okay, so my last bit of news, and I joked about this last week. I'm like, we need like a Ezra Miller news drop because they're back in the news. They've been arrested again for second degree assault. So basically, the story I heard is they were at a party in Hawaii again, and they just need to leave. Just leave Hawaii. You won't get in as much trouble. But they were in at a party in Hawaii. They're like, you got to leave. They're like, no, and they, very belligerent. And then they threw a chair, bonked a girl with it, and she's pressing charges on that. So, yeah, Warner Brothers has to just be like,
Oh, dude, that their like their PR person is just like son of every time something else comes out.
it'd be really funny if they're just like, okay, this is what we're gonna do since there's gonna be an evil you in the movie. Ezra, this has all just been evil you. You have to stop him
He's method
now.
acting. He's just
Yeah,
getting into that
yeah.
character.
Ezra's like, this is perfect, wambly blambly, because he's like such a weirdo, or they're such a weirdo.
Yeah. Well, maybe next week he won't be in the news.
Yeah, let's hope so.
All right. And my last bit of news on this monstrous news week is that we're getting a Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor series that starts in June. I think it's just a mini series. That's by Torrin Groenbeck with art by Michael Dowling. Now, before I saw the writer, I thought, nah, I don't need to read it. But I really like that Valkyries book that
Mm-hmm.
Groenbeck co-wrote. So that alone will get me to at least check it out. But I've got the little blurb here for it. It says, when Mjolnir comes crashing through Jane Foster's apartment window, she fears the worst has happened to Thor. As Asgard's greatest enemies, including Hela, Ulik the Troll, and the Enchantress, mount an assault on the Golden Realm, Jane must find Thor and save Asgard, even if that means she must once again risk her life to become Thor herself. So there you go.
I mean, she's been Valkyrie. She's like not like she really stopped risking her life. She just had she's still doing stuff. Is there just like she's like, oh well, now I gotta have this much more powerful weapon
Yeah,
as
I
I
mean,
risk my life.
yeah, I don't see. I mean, other than for the movie, why they need to do this. She is Valkyrie.
Yeah,
Just let her do her thing like she's been
yeah.
doing, because the last series was really good. But they also posted a picture of Peach Momoko's variant cover, and I really hope that it's not incentive because it is gorgeous.
Yeah, that's gonna be one you're getting for sure.
Yeah. All right. And that is our news this week. So we'll take our ad break and then we'll be back and talk some comics. Okay, dude. Have you this can be the topic unless you had something.
I have nothing, so let's do it.
Okay. Have you watched Moon Knight?
I haven't. I'm still thinking about pulling the trigger on the Disney Plus deal that they got going right now. Probably by the time I do, they'll be like, deal's over. Sorry, Casey.
Right. Okay, I'm just curious because episode 4 was this last week, and there's only 2 more episodes. So I'm really curious what they're gonna do in these last 2. I don't know why they went with 6 instead of like 8.
Yeah, probably because I mean, my guess is they'd be worried that it didn't have an audience. You know what I mean?
I do, but it's like if you're going this far,
Yeah.
what's 2 more episodes, Disney? But man, I just don't know how I feel about it, dude. It is so different from the books. And like
Yeah.
I'm entertained for the most part. Each episode's gotten better. Like it was a pretty slow start, that first one or two. Um, but some things I like just don't make sense. But I'll say this. This last episode, there was like this one scene in particular that was straight out of Lemire's run. And while I wasn't the biggest fan of that, it was still cool to see just like how much influence they took from
Mm-hmm.
that. So we'll see how these last two wrap up. Um, but I don't know. I'm still very much like I'll make a decision once I've seen it all and can wrap my head around it.
Just wait, in the next episode, they're gonna be stealing something from another Moon Knight run. Bendez's run. He's gonna get the Wolverine claws, the web shooter, and the shield.
Dude, I remember when I was like, it's when we were still going to Midgard Comics. I was like, I think I want to try out this Moon Knight character, and that was the series that was going on. And oof,
Yeah, because I
Maylee's
remember.
art is really good,
Yeah,
but
and I
that's it.
remember you got the trades around that same time too, and you were. It was very much like the Top Gear meme where you're like, or except you weren't like, oh, this is good, but I like this. It's more like this is trash, and I like this.
Yeah, because the trades were of the David Finch series, and I'm blanking on the writer of that one.
In all
Um,
honesty, though, David, it's mostly David Finch's art that's bringing you in my opinion.
it was amazing. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
his stuff is just like a gritty, awesome. Like the only downside to him is like on monthly books. Like he's gonna like he needs a black label book right now where he can
Right.
take like 3 months off, in between each issues or whatever, and then like,
Yeah,
whew, he'd bring it.
he would. Because that book, he Moon Knight was written to be gritty. That's when he was carving
Mm-hmm.
crescent moons on people's heads. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it ends. I was just curious if you'd started.
No, not yet, dude. One thing that's funny to me is like you like the gritty Moon Knight, but then you're also wearing the Mister Miracle shirt. It's like that'd be a fun odd couple comic, like crossover comic.
It would be. I think there'd be a pretty good balance there
Yeah,
with the right writer, of course.
Tom King will do it. They're just depressed in therapy.
Gosh, that is what it would be.
Yeah.
Especially, oh man, I bet he is just grasping for a chance at Moon Knight. All right, guys, welcome back. Thanks for listening to the ad. If you want to hear me talk non-spoilery about Moon Knight up to episode 4, then you can do so over on our YouTube channel. That is Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube. But now is the comic review section of the episode. So Casey,
Really quick, did we have any YouTube comments or anything this week? Maybe about a Batman voice staying in?
we did. I'm glad that you said that. Well, one is you,
I know.
but we did actually friends Edna and Dan both said keep the voice. So
I like to think that like half of it, it's like them kind of going like, it's funny, but the other half is like it makes Jake mad. So they're like, we gotta, keep that for it.
it doesn't make me mad. It's just like after a while, I'm like, what the hell is he even saying?
That's how that. I mean, you've seen The Dark Knight when he's like, "I'm not wearing hockey pads." Like that's how everyone was feeling.
All right, tell me what comics you read this week.
Okay, so I read Power Rangers number 18, Hulk number 6, Shang-Chi number 11, The Good Asian. I don't know. It doesn't have a number on it, but it's the last one for this arc of stuff. So The Good Asian. The Nice House on the Lake, book 8, The Flash 781, Blue and Gold 8 of 8, Batman the Knight 4 of 10, and Batman Superman World's Finest number 2. What about you, man?
I read We Don't Kill Spiders number 4, Trial of the Amazons Wondergirl number 2, Nightwing 91, Blue and Gold 8, Batman the Knight number 4, and World's Finest number 2.
Man, you should be reading The Flash, bud.
Well, after you said Flash, I was like, oh, I didn't really realize that it came out.
I gotcha.
It's been a very busy week.
Yeah, I know, buddy. But still,
If it's
like, and
that good, then I'll remember to read it this week.
spoiler alert, it's my pick of the week if we did that. But
Why
it's a good.
don't we?
I don't know. It's just one of those things. I think it's like we probably had that idea early on, and then we just kind of blanked on it, like we do, like we used to do. Always forget like what we're excited about, but then we kind of
Right.
force ourselves to remember that.
Well, let's see if we can remember at the end of this to do it.
Okay. I'll start with Power Rangers number 18, and this is by Ryan Parrott and Marco Renna. And I'm not gonna lie, this was not very enjoyable.
Okay.
I mean, you just had like a lot of like they're just kind of fighting some ground people, and then like I mean, I don't know. When I see the Zords and stuff, I want it to look cool, and like they're fighting a monster. The monster looks kind of cool, but those two little block guys are what the Zord like the Zords are supposed to be, and like that looks lame to me, super lame. And yeah, I mean they find the little baby, and then like they get back to their place, like and then they also find like another guy that says he's a Power Ranger, and then like once they get back to the baby, like it's now a little kid. It's like how did it age so quick? And that's how it ended. And it's like that's not enough to make me want to keep reading, guys. Come on, I need something more.
Right.
But yeah, so it's probably a 5 out of 10 for me. I was really let down. It's like I'm gonna give it one more issue because I want to like it so badly.
I
But
feel
yeah,
like you have mostly.
I mean, it's like when that big arc was going on, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And then it's like now that they're trying to start something up new, I'm like, oh, it's been about like that.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah, and it's like, man, I think maybe you might have spoiled me when you got me the grid one, because it's like that's like having your first DC comic you ever read be Crisis on Infinite Earths, and you're like then like you try to go read something else after that, you're just like this is what we're doing.
Right. You want to do another one?
Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so next up will be Hulk number 6 by Donnie Cates and Ryan Otley. And I'm so torn on this book because there's so like such crazy crap that happens with the Hulk, but also just like ignores everything else. And it's just like we're doing our own stuff. And like they kind of try to touch on that other stuff, but they don't do a good job. And then it's like, Hulk, guess what? Everyone's had a Hulk. Rick's had a Hulk. Thunderbolt Ross has had a Hulk. Bruce has a Hulk. Why doesn't the Hulk have a Hulk? And then, he does, and he's super tough. And yeah, and then like it's just I don't know. Like I said, it's such a like fun, crazy, cool story that I really like it, and it builds up for the next issue where Thor and him fight, and it's gonna be awesome. But it's
I
also
really
like,
can't wait for that.
yeah,
It's
but then
gonna be
also
so
though,
stupid.
it's one of those things where it's like I don't know if you ever have this problem with like Thor or other characters you like, where you're like, yeah, I know this story's a lot of fun, but you're ignoring so much of this other stuff. Like I like it, but it's also like as a Hulk fan, it bothers me.
I mean, that Donnie's Thor run has done that to me.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, like that's my only real hang up. I think anybody that's not like a super Hulk fan, like I'm not even a super Hulk fan, but like anyone that's not not like a regular Hulk fan, read it. You're gonna love it. But so that like when I say it's like a 7.5
so
for
chances
me,
are I would love it.
yeah, you'd be like, dude, this is so crazy and awesome. I'd be like, it is, but man, it annoys me to no end, but I also love it. So it's like I said, very torn. And that's why I kind of wanted to explain it that way. That's why it's only getting a 7.5, but also I think Jake probably would have gave it a 8.5 to a 9.
Also, fun fact, it was the best-selling book at Comic Headquarters this week.
That's awesome. I'm glad. Anytime a Hulk book is that's wonderful.
All right. So I'll do We Don't Kill Spiders number 4. I think it's the last issue, but it's by Joseph Schmalke. He does the writing and the art. Yeah, there's just more Viking supernatural stuff and witches and monsters. It's pretty cool. And then at the end, like the two main characters kind of ride off into the sunset, and they leave it open for potentially more because the black goat of the wood, who has been the main villain, gets summoned by a different group, and she appears on this throne. So I don't know if there's going to be a volume 2 or not, but this was cool. It's been like 2 or 3 months between issues 3 and 4, which sucked because I was like, what even happened in the first 3 issues?
Yeah, right.
Um, but it was still really enjoyable. And for, you know, Black Caravan, which is like a Scout Comics imprint, really high quality stuff. So I'll give this and the series as a whole probably an 8. If you like Vikings or supernatural stuff, check it out.
Right on, man. Okay, so next up, it's going to be Shang Chi by Jean Lewin Yang and Marcus To. And I'm going to say this. I'm about to drop this book. This one just really annoyed me. This is like you were talking about them bringing in Jane Thor, basically for movie synergy. And then in this one, guess who gets superpowers and some rings at the end of it?
Is it Shang?
It is. It's like, this is not what the character needs. He just needs some fun, stupid action. And yeah, so like these last couple issues have been pretty boring, and it really does feel like I'm not gonna like it's more editorial problems than writing problems. Like they're trying to be like, Gene, you saw the movie, make it like the movie. That's how it's like really feeling, because they're doing lots of this stuff that he didn't like. Like if you read the first series that Gene did, so it's like how it was, and then like this one, it's just like veering off much more like the movie, and that's smart, but I don't like it.
So
So
I think the next issue is when they reboot it or whatever.
yeah, so I probably won't pick it up if he's like keeping the rings at the end of it. He's like, I like having superpowers, or whatever. And I'll be like, well, I don't like this book anymore.
He's gonna keep the rings.
Yeah, I figured. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. And sadly, I'm gonna be about done with Shang-Chi, I think.
How many more do you have that we didn't read?
3. So I'll talk about Good Asian really
Yeah.
quick. So yeah, like it's kind of funny if you guys, want to hear some inside baseball. When I got my book set up, I did a book I didn't like, a book I liked, a book I didn't like, a book I liked, a book I didn't like, a book I like. So it's like, it's not all just like good news and, start off with all bad news type of thing. But this is by Pornsak Pichishot and Tefin Key. And I always feel so bad when I pronounce their names because I do it wrong every time. But such a good book. This is so much fun. Not really fun, I wouldn't say, unless you like, gritty noirs and you think that's a fun time. But no, it's really cool. And this was the last issue of this, but then like it ends with, Edison Hark will return. So that's awesome. I really like it. I think if you're a fan of, noir stories, you're gonna very much enjoy this. I'm gonna give it a probably 8.5 out of 10. The only real downside that I had is like, since this is a detective story, it's gonna be better collected, because it's like I say every time I talk about it, it's like, boy, this one character that you talked about one time in the first issue, and now you're bringing him back up in issue 3. That's been months ago, and like hundreds of comics since then.
Yeah. Like I know that there's a volume 1 out, but I've been waiting for them to do just like the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I absolutely plan on picking it up.
And I really do think you're gonna love it. Like it's awesome. And so yeah, and like the series as a whole, I'm gonna say probably 8.5 to 9 for now until I read them all again. And it'll probably be 9.5, 10, because it is very, very good. The art in it's great, and it's like a great time.
Good. Okay, next for me is Trial of the Amazons Wondergirl 2. Now I got the Babs Tar variant because would you just look at this?
That's awesome.
Absolutely stunning. But anyway, so this was. Oh, why didn't I have the credits pulled up? We always do this, Casey.
I mean, it's becoming more and more you.
Yeah, look, I don't need this from you. Anyway, it's written by Joelle Jones and then Jones and Adriana Mello on the art. So it's Cassie telling everyone who she is accusing of murdering old Hippolyta. And I'm always going to say it now because of you.
I'm glad. I mean, it started because of Tony, and now it's hopefully it's gone to all of our listeners too.
Did you have it spoiled who
No.
murdered her?
No.
It was Artemis.
Oh no, how come?
We don't know.
Oh, okay.
Artemis admits to it, and then she's like, Cassie said that poison is a coward's tool, but it might also be seen as a mercy. And your love for Hippolyta is as clear as your guilt in murdering her. And Artemis is like, yeah, I did it. But what'd she say? My motives for doing so are simply that, mine alone. But I know that they're going to be doing like a couple issues around Artemis. It's called like Get Artemis or something like that. So I assume that we'll learn why and all of that. But anyway, then Nubia calls for her arrest, and then one of the palaces starts to crumble and gets destroyed, and up from underneath the Themyscira rises Doom's doorway. And this will all be concluded in the Trial of the Amazons #2. So we'll see what happens. It was cool. I mean, you know how Joelle Jones's art is, and she can write just as well as she can draw. So I liked it quite a bit. I'll give it an 8.5.
Right on. How you liking that whole arc so far?
It's all right. Like the first Wondergirl one was just pointless, but this one actually had some meat to it, if you will. So it was a lot better.
Right on, man. Okay, so next up, it's The Nice House on the Lake, Book 8. And this is by James Tynion IV and Alvaro Martinez Bueno on the art with Jordi Belair doing colors. And I'm not going to lie, this book has lost me. Like, if anyone's reading it right now and they want to tell me, like, why, if they're still, like, super into it. But I don't know. I think it's kind of jumped the shark when they brought the one dude in, like, to live with them, Walter, and they're trying to figure stuff out. Like, it's kind of just really lost my interest. Like, it was really cool at first. They kind of slowed down and they got really cool again. Now I'm just like, I don't think I'm gonna pick up the next issue. Sorry, comic headquarters.
And this week Casey's just slashing his pull list.
I know. Well, I mean, in all fairness, next week it's gonna be huge. So
dude, I know.
So, I mean, it is what it is. Like, but yeah, the art in it is still fantastic. That's like the one thing you can't really say about this. I mean, it's like, it's kind of the type of thing where you can be like, oh, it's not really for me, but it still looks great. Like, it just, and I really like the art, but the story itself is just, like I said, it's lost me. So I'm gonna give it a very low 4.5 out of 10. And then last of the books that I read by myself, it's The Flash, Bring Your Kid Flash to Work Day by Jeremy Adams with Fernando Passarin on the pencils. And so this is, like, first off, I'm just gonna say Jeremy Adams, he needs to do a whole Flash family book where he just gets all of them, have like him and Williamson team up on it. That's like my dream book right there. Like, put that in the round robin. I'd make fake accounts to vote for it.
Well, did they used to do Batman family and Superman family back in the day?
Yeah, no, just do a Flash family. There's too many speedsters, not to. And there's a little cameo from your town in this issue. Oh, bless you.
Thanks. What town? Oh, nice. He
Yeah.
just runs over the arch.
Yep. I mean, the idiot, it's a gateway. You don't run over it. But
You run through it.
but he's like, there's something really important. And then, so it's like it's an emergency. And it turns out it was just to get ice cream at this place that's closing. And so then someone calls him like when he goes outside, like, hola, flush man, because they're in Argentina. And then they're like, Kid Flash is like, did he just call you flush man? And he's like, it's a whole thing. And there's asterisk, and then it goes, internet search Flushman Argentina. Thank me later. And so basically, they're like that's the Flash's name in Argentina due to copyright laws. So they just kept that in the thing. It's like I mean that's in real like because when the DC comics were going to release, they like this person that was named Flash or whatever in Argentina was going to sue them over it. And so
That is
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. And then like in this, it's kind of like Wallace talking to Wally about when Wally like first became Kid Flash. He like him and Flash would always go out on trips together, and then they'd be like, okay, time for bed, and Wally would go, and then he started after that he would just go out on his own and save people, and he just kept doing that every night until one night there was a volcano going off and he started rescuing people, and then Barry was already there. And so then they just kind of saw each other and they just saved it, and then it just brought them closer together. And then so he was telling Wallace, he's like, and I'm going to show you the route that I go on every night because I have two kids. Linda's got some stuff going on because they still haven't really touched on Linda having the speed powers yet. And he's like, and I have a job also, so it's like I need as much help as I can get. And so Wallace agrees, and he kind of shows them everything. And like, there's a bunch of little things that pop up. I'm not going to spoil all the stuff that they do, but it's a great time. And I really liked it. It was such a good story. It's a filler story. It really feels like, but it's like a really good one. It's like there's those filler ones that you're just like, oh, I just loved it. And that's how I felt about this. It's a 10 out of 10. And like I said, pick of the week. The art in it is great. And Adams is just, crushing it.
Man, well, now I have to get it right.
Yeah.
All right. Books with Wally West in it. We've got Nightwing number 91. And this is written by old Tommy Taylor. And the art is done by Geraldo Borges.
Is that a fill-in artist?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it just as much, it's just as good, or?
It's very good. Very,
Nice.
very good. Let me show you a cool, like here's the opening panel of Nightwing and Flash.
Oh, dude, that's nice.
Yeah. So the art's good. Last issue ended with KG Beast. So they fight him and take him down. And Wally's like, I'll never forgive you for shooting my friend. I'm going to be watching you for the rest of your life to make sure that you keep in line. I guess trying to scare him into not being KG Beast. We'll see if it works.
KG Beast is like, in Russia, KG Beast watch you.
Yeah. So anywho, they go to like this super assassin that like this organization that like if you really want someone dead, then these assassins never fail. You know how it is.
Yeah.
And they fight this lady who looks pretty cool.
That is cool, yeah.
So they work to try and take her down, and then basically they get inside and get into their system, and then Nightwing is like, I want to use this system of assassins to, I don't know, stop them, I guess, to like, give them jobs to see how many take the bait. Basically, I'm doing a very poor job of explaining this, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry. But anyway, he basically sends them all out to various heroes. So then, like, uh, Jonathan Kent Superman is there. They show some of the Titans and others like capturing all these assassins. So he basically just baited them all into turning themselves in, which is cool, I guess.
It is. It's like how funny it would have been if it would have backfired and it's like all the superheroes are now dead.
Dude, I
It's
know,
like they
right?
were really good assassins.
Wally's like, boy, they weren't kidding,
Yeah.
huh? uh, anyway, the issue ends. Spoiler alert with Lady Shiva showing up in Bloodhaven to Blockbuster, and Blockbuster's like, "Are you here for the Dick Grayson job?" And she said, "No, this is a courtesy. Um, all these good assassins are in custody now, and if you want to kill Grayson, you're gonna have to do it yourself." And then she leaves. So I guess now we'll finally start to see some good old Blockbuster v Nightwing fights like we used to back in the
Nice.
90s and early 2000s. So, um, this was probably the best issue of Nightwing in a while as far as Tom Taylor stuff, but it's just because it was like part of this mini Flash crossover, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
not part of the bigger story. So I would give it a generous 7 out of 10. And again, the guest artist carries quite a bit.
I will say though, the part with Shiva is that's pretty on point for like the Shiva I like, you know, not like the Red Robin Shiva that got poisoned by chocolate and then Tim Drake beat, you know.
Right. I feel you. I love that series, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. I mean that series was good because I read your stuff that you would let me borrow, but it also had some real cringe moments like that, and then also like I'm Tim Wayne, you
Oh,
know.
I know. We
But
used to we used to make fun of that line all the time.
we still do, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, what order do you want to go in, dude?
Just to break up Batman, let's do the Night, Blue and Gold, and World's Finest. Because
All
I
right,
hope that you liked World's Finest.
dude. All three of these are pretty dang good.
Okay,
So
good. Good deal. Same
it's
here.
just it's just Flash was better.
Right, I feel you. All right.
Okay. So I'll start with Batman the Knight, and this is by old Chip Zdarsky. And then I'm gonna pull a Jake on this one and not know where the artist is. They're probably on the last page. I like the art in this though. It's by Carmine de Giandomenico. How'd that sound?
As good as it always does.
Yeah. Can you put a little bit of some heat on it and give it to us good?
Not really. I assume it's DG on Domenico, but I
Okay.
don't know.
That still sounds better than me. What do you think of this issue though, man?
um, I mean, I kind of liked it. I think this series is fine. It's one of those he makes a friend, and I don't think this friend is going to stick around very long, but
Part of me thinks the friend is gonna be old Ghost Maker or whatever.
I had that thought too. I did have that thought. But this is like Iron Fist or something where I really like the dojo years in Kunlun, so it kind of reminded me of that, and so I liked it.
My main thing that annoys me with this is like I thought we were gonna be getting more Descartes or whatever the dude's name is, and I was like prepped for that. And I'm like, oh, he just said see ya. Like we got like it's like all the cool stuff. Like he did a little bit of stuff last issue, and then now it's just kind of like him going like, oh yeah, that all happened in issue 3.5. That's
Right.
why you didn't see it.
Well, and I think that he'll be back at some point. He's just too big of a character, especially for this book, to not come back.
Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. The fight scenes are pretty cool, and like the stuff with the sensei guy is pretty neat too, and all of that. Do you think the assassin people he's training are Raisha's guys?
Yeah, I do. I do. I
Same.
definitely had that thought. And also
But
I got the Riccardo Federici variant, and it's awesome.
dude, that is rad. Nice.
Yeah.
So where you at with this one, man?
Oh, probably like a 7.5.
Yeah, that's actually what I was feeling too. Because like there's not really much to complain about. It's just nothing that I'm really gonna rave about, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay, which brings us to Blue and Gold number 8 of 8 by Dan Jurgens and Ryan Sook. And we were talking about how issue 6 or whatever could have been the ending, but I actually really like this one, and I thought this was a cool ending too.
Yeah, no, it was a great ending. It felt a little rushed. That's
Mm-hmm.
kind of the main thing with this book. And we kind of talked about how we thought it was going to, but it's all in all pretty neat. The Black Beetle, reveal is cool. And the last bit, how they get their money, is such a cop out and so great at the same time. Like it's something that, because like I'll spoil it. Batman does have just a big old soft spot for Blue, or for Booster. So he's gonna help him out no matter what. So,
Yeah,
and
and also that whole scene could have happened in Justice League International. Like that's
yeah,
how like much it reminded me of that.
and I love that. I mean, okay, how many comics do you get Blue Beetle riding a dang Triceratops?
Right. Where it's
That
not just hokey to be hokey. It's like
no,
good hokey.
yeah, it's awesome. No, I was like, this is just a great time. And it's like the only real problem with it is it's just like rush. And that's the problem with the series. It's just kind of like the way they did things. It's like we spent 6 issues on these aliens, and it turns out that wasn't important to the main story.
I know, right? Also, I do really like that this series gave Ted like his own skeets. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree.
And it said at the end, definitely not the end. So we
Yeah,
might be getting a volume 2.
dude, I would love that.
Yeah. Also, the cover's hilarious.
Yeah, no,
All the fake reviews.
yeah, and this
Hmm.
one was probably one of the best issues yet because we got the least amount of those like little text guys popping up
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah, I agree.
That was like that's the like one of the main downsides for this series too. So I'm glad they kind of this last issue kind of went away from that.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm at like a 9 on this issue.
I'm at about an 8.5 and probably 8.5 for the whole series. What about you?
I'd say 8 overall for the series because there was like one or two there in the middle that were really
Yeah,
dragging, but it's such a good Booster and Beetle book for sure.
it really is. Okay, so last up is Batman Superman World's Finest. And this is by Mark Waid and Dan Mora on the art. And the art is just wonderful. What did you think of this book, though, man?
I want Dan Mora to draw the Doom Patrol forever.
Right?
And here, like, not to keep flexing my variants, Casey, but
But you're gonna.
Tim Sale did the variant.
Ooh,
And so it's like Tim Sale cover, Dan Mora art, Mark Waid writing it. Like, this book is awesome.
yeah. The only downside of this book is it's like it's so out of continuity. That's like my only real complaint with this book because as a comic book nerd, continuity is very important. But and but for a fact that the part when like they're fighting Felix and Superman can whistle at the right tune to knock Felix out, like that's some like stupid stuff that probably happened early Silver Age, late Golden Age, that Mark read one time and it's only happened one time, and then he's like, I'm going to use this in my World's Finest book.
Right. No, I totally agree with that. Um, Also, I think the way Dan drew that bad guy, the Devil Nezha, was awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
and like
what
that
a
dude's
sick villain.
whole backstory was wild too and awesome. And
Did you
then
catch the Dragon Ball reference?
I don't know.
So this guy, Goku,
Oh shoot,
he's
that's
got
funny.
the gi, he's got the stick.
Yeah, that's funny. I didn't catch that. But what do you think of the Supergirl and Dick Grayson stuff?
It's goofy, but that's Mark keeping the
Yeah,
book light, so it was fine.
it's pretty funny. Like I really want to know more why they don't like each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to come up, right? Like, there's
Yeah,
no way that they spent this much time on it for nothing. But no, I think this is just such a fun book,
it
and
really is.
really, this is what I want for a Batman and Superman title. So
Yeah, I mean that's the same thing as like why this one's good and why the Jean Lewin Yang one was good. I think the Jean Lewin Yang one was better with how they did the out of continuity stuff because it was like when Batman and Superman showed up, it was still like, oh yeah, this is current events, but then like all the crap that was happening was clearly in alternate realities, and that worked a little bit better than how he's doing it here, where it's just like, yeah, it's alternate reality or not, it's in the past, whatever, you know.
right,
So this is
yeah.
just the story I want to tell, and I'm Mark Wade, so I get to do what I want, type of thing, which fair enough, you are Mark Wade.
So yeah, this one was actually my pick of the week, and I will give it a 10 because there really wasn't anything that I could dog it on.
Yeah, I'm probably at a 9.5. I liked it, but it's still, like I said, I'm a curmudgeon when it comes to the old continuity.
Yeah,
But what are you excited for this next week, this gigantic week?
dude, it's tough to pick, but I'm gonna go with Action Comics. I'm gonna go Thor. And then gosh, it's gotta be, I'm gonna lump Robin and Deathstroke together because it's all Shadow War stuff, and I've been digging that. So
Yeah. So you kind of took some of mine, but I will go with Godzilla Rivals versus King Ghidorah. Like that book, according to the internet, should have been out like months ago. So this is gonna be pretty exciting. And then Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, because no duh. And then I'm gonna say Justice League because we're gonna have to read that. So I
that's
think it's gonna be
true.
a good time.
Also, I specifically left off Silk and Saga because I thought you were gonna pick those
Oh
two.
yeah. Well, like Saga for sure is on the list, but like you knew Godzilla, the two Godzillas were gonna take precedent
Yeah,
over Silk. No offense to Silk.
lots of good stuff coming out this
Yeah.
week. Okay, so I took the liberty of coming up with the Fantastic Four this week. So, Casey, give me four characters that are either underused or haven't been used in a really long time that you wish were more prominent today.
Do teams count?
Then I know who you're going to pick. I'll say, yeah, why not?
Okay, so Alpha Flight, if teams count. If not, I would say Puck, but like, let's be honest, I love Puck, but he is like the type of character, like he is the supporting character, the best supporting character. And I would probably say Vindicator, or I mean Guardian, because there's so much they could do with him. Like have him actually be trying to help Heather, then something happens at the facility that Heather's being held at, and whatever, and they have to save their kid, and they team up, and Puck's there being the best. That just do like an easy 6 issues that way. That'd be awesome. And then I'm gonna go with Batman, pretty underutilized. Doesn't they don't use him near enough. No, I think Frankenstein. That was like it was so weird. Like Grant Morrison brought Frankenstein's monster and made him into a character in DC. I don't think they were ever used prior to that. I don't know. But then New 52 happened, or like Flashpoint happened, and they're like, yeah, Frankenstein. And then like right after that, New 52 is like, yeah, he's getting his own book. And then it's just like, oh, well, bye, Frankenstein.
Did you like that Agents of Shade book?
Yeah, dude, it's so the art, like towards the end, the main reason why I stopped reading is because like I didn't like the art and whatnot. But like, dude, it is so crazy. It's just like
Remind me who wrote that.
Jeff Lemire.
Okay.
But it's like you get Frankenstein with a big sword and guns and stuff, killing stuff. it's cool. And then Animal Man, Buddy Baker. I love me some Buddy Baker. And I'm gonna try and go with a Marvel character really quick. Trying to think, Hercules, like a good Hercules. Have him back on the sauce.
Yeah.
Have him just be like, oh, I can drink. I'm a god.
That's issue 1 right there, the last page.
It's just like, he's like, duh.
Right.
Have Thor with them. Thor's like, dude, you do know what affects the mortals don't affect us, right? He's like, holy crap, you're right.
What was Ganadnit thinking? All
What
right.
about you, buddy?
So the first one's going to be like mega obscure because I don't think most people know who Bloodwind is. Do you know who Bloodwind is?
No, maybe if I saw a picture, but
you would. But he was on the Justice League for a little bit. I think Dan Jurgens created him, but he's a necromancer, but he's a hero, like on the Justice League, and he uses the blood gem. Crazy awesome concept. Really wish that would come back.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but literally all 4 of mine are DC characters. So
yeah.
2 is Plastic Man. I know he had a miniseries not that long ago, but it's not enough.
And honestly, that miniseries was kind of a jumbled mess.
Yeah, I know. I was so stoked for it when it came out, and it was Gail Simone.
Yeah, but, and she does the funny stuff really well, but like the story was just, I don't know. There's like, it was just jumping everywhere, and it was just, it wasn't my cup of tea.
I'm going to say Sandman, not the Neil Gaiman one, Wesley Dodds, because they, with stuff like Good Asian and other like what's it, like the Brubaker stuff. It's like there's room for a cool Sandman noir story again.
Now I have a question though. Who was the second Sandman? Because there's there's Sandman, Wesley Dodds, and there was Robot Sandman, but then there was that younger Sandman that didn't wear the whole trench coat. He just wore kind of like almost like just a sweatshirt with the the gun, and he had the mask and stuff. He looked cool.
He was in JSA.
Yeah, was he like,
man, what was his name?
Because that would be neat if they did a new Sandman where like Wesley Dodds was handing it off to him type of thing.
It was terrible name, Sandy Hawkins.
Oof, that's rough.
Sanderson, but he went by Sandy.
Yeah, like you shouldn't.
Right, I know, right? But he was the nephew of Wesley's wife, Diane.
Okay.
And he didn't have the gun. The smoke or the gas came out of his like gauntlets, which was kind of neat. But yeah, I'd be fine with that too. And then the biggest one, I was on such a kick for this character this week, even though I didn't read anything. Dr. Midnight. Casey knows I love Dr. Midnight. Matt Wagner did a great story with him. He's so like unique and cool. Like, why not have a cool kind of crime noir / medical themed mini series with him in it, where he, is working with like supernatural stuff or does an autopsy that reveals some weird funky stuff and he's got to figure it out.
Yeah, like do like a CSI almost, because he, but with superhero stuff.
Yeah, Barry's there. Probably Mr. Terrific's there too, because he likes that sort of stuff. Justice League CSI would be awesome. So yeah, there's my 4.
Right on, man.
All right. Well, that's the end of the episode, folks. So thanks for tuning in this week. If you would, please go to facebook.com/2worldspodcast, give the page a like. You can also follow us on Twitter at 2_worlds_PC and on Instagram at 2worldspod. You can email us at 2worldspodcast@gmail.com. And if you would, please go to our YouTube channel. That is 2 Worlds Podcast on YouTube and subscribe. And maybe this week, let us know which characters you think need to be around more.
Yeah, you stole my part where I always say what they should say on, in the comment section on YouTube.
Look, I stole the Fantastic Four. I had to steal that too.
Fair enough. But hey, we'd love to stay in chat, but Jake just pooped in my bed again. Bye, guys.
Bye.